Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome to another uplifting conversation here on the Happiness Hub. I am your host, Marianne Rouse, your gratitude consultant, artistic designer, and guide for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs who are ready to attract abundance and create both financial independence and time freedom. Today's episode is called Gratitude in Unexpected Places, Adventures in Appreciation. And this is one episode that is especially close to my heart because it is about something so simple and small, yet so powerful. The little moments of appreciation that happen when you least expect them. So I want to begin with something that happened right here in my neighborhood. Every day, I would notice a little girl across the street. My guess is that she's about 7 years old, and she would be skipping down her driveway or even running to the mailbox. She didn't just walk, she had pep in her step. She'd open that mailbox like she was uncovering treasures, but most of the time it was empty. But when there was mail, she would peek inside, pull out the envelopes, and walk back with the biggest grin as if every piece of mail was a letter from Santa. One day I thought, why not make this mailbox adventure even more special for her? So I sat down at my desk, pulled out a blank sheet of paper, nothing fancy, right? Just grabbed a white sheet of paper. I wrote a quick note to her parents to introduce ourselves as we were fairly new to the neighborhood. And I also tucked in a cute coloring page just for her. Something with flowers and sunshine, which I felt she would probably like to make it and her own and color that one. So a couple of hours later, I saw the little girl run out to our mailbox and quickly put something inside. My husband was working in the yard and she gave him a shy wave and then ran back to her house. So I went out and opened our mailbox and found a little surprise. A note from her parents to say thank you for the gesture along with the coloring page that their daughter had finished. She had carefully colored the flower and every little detail, and she even added her own flair to that page. Later that same day, we ended up meeting our neighbors for the first time. The parents introduced themselves, we stood in the doorway chatting, and that single act of unexpected gratitude and happy mail turned strangers into friends. And that's the beautiful thing. Sometimes gratitude is the key that opens a door. And in this case, a mailbox as well. So there is something extra powerful about gratitude when it is not tied to a holiday or a special occasion or to say thank you when somebody's expecting a thank you, right? Unexpected gratitude catches people by surprise in the best way. And because our brains are wired to notice what's new or unusual, the positive impact is amplified. So let's put our lab coats on for a minute and let's get nerdy. Let's talk about Nicholas Epley from the University of Chicago and Amit Kumar from the University of Texas, who ran a fascinating study. They asked participants to write letters of gratitude to people in their lives and then predict how the recipients would feel. Over and over, the writers underestimated how happy the recipients would be. They thought the letters might make somebody smile for a moment, but the recipients reported feeling more connected, uplifted, and valued for the rest of the day, sometimes even for the rest of the week. And what's even better is the act of writing the note boosted the mood of the sender too. It is a double win. Gratitude uplifts the giver and the receiver. That is exactly what happened with my mailbox moment. I thought it would be a cute little gesture. I didn't realize or even think of how to create a new friendship or a sweet ongoing connection. Okay, let's take a look at a real life example. And you may know Lin-Manuel Miranda from Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton, and In the Heights. But here is a side that you may not know about him. After early workshops for Hamilton, he personally emailed each cast member, musician, and creative involved, thanking them for their input, their patience, and the energy that they brought into the room. Nobody expected those notes, but they created a bond that carried into the official Broadway run. Many of those people have said that they would work with Lin-Manuel again in a heartbeat, not just because of his talent, but because of how he makes people feel seen. And that is the ripple of unexpected gratitude. Now let's get nerdy some more and let's talk about Sarah Algo, a researcher at UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center. And this was done years of work on how gratitude strengthens social bonds. One of her studies found that when gratitude is expressed in casual, everyday interactions, like thanking a bus driver or complimenting a coworker, it does not just strengthen the bond between two people involved. It also lifts the mood of anyone who witnesses it. Think about it. If you see someone thanking a stranger in a grocery store, you feel warmer toward both of them, even though the gratitude was not even directed at you. In other words, gratitude isn't just a gift between two people. It is a social signal that spreads abundance into the whole environment. Okay, are you ready for another personal story? Well, not personal to me, but another real life story. This one is in the town of New Jersey. An artist started what became known as the Gratitude Graffiti Project. She put up a blank wall and left markers out. Anyone passing by had to write a note of thanks to someone. It could be anyone. At first, only a few messages appeared, but soon the wall was covered with colorful expressions of appreciation to teachers, to store owners, to first responders, even to strangers who once smiled at them on a rainy day. People started coming just to read the notes. Some left in tears, and everything that happened there, that wall turned into a gathering place, and it changed the way the neighborhood interacted. Okay, are you ready to get nerdy again? Let's zoom in even closer into the brain stuff. In 2015, researchers at Indiana University. Yeah, gratitude has wonderful energy. But that researchers at the Indiana University conducted a study using fMRI brain scans to see what happens when we actively practice gratitude. They had participants write gratitude letters over several weeks and then looked at brain activity. They found that people who practiced gratitude showed increased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain linked to decision making, learning, and emotional regulation. And what's even more amazing, that change lasted months after the letter writing ended. So in other words, gratitude doesn't just change your mood in the moment. It changes how your brain processes, experiences, over the long term. That is why even small, unexpected gesture can have lasting effects, both for you and the person that you are appreciating. Okay, and I know we're switching back and forth today, right? But I have one more real life story I want to share with you about. And we're going into sports here. So if you have any sports fan listening, we're going to be talking about the NFL quarterback Drew Brees. Long before retiring, Drew made a habit of personally writing thank you notes to stadium staff, the people who handed locker room laundry equipment, or they did security, people that worked there. They weren't public gestures. In fact, most people didn't even know about these little notes until one of those staff members shared the notes years later. That simple acknowledgement from a star athlete meant the world to them because it was personal and unexpected. So, what can you try, right? What are some practical adventures in appreciation that you can do? If you want to bring more of this into your life, I've got some examples for you. So, number one, we're going to talk about mailbox magic. Super simple. Leave a note for a neighbor, especially someone that you have not met yet. Number two, receipt thanks. Maybe you do this already. Write a little message, a kind message, on a restaurant or coffee shop receipt. Number three, a surprise social media shout out. Publicly thank someone for a small act that they did. Okay, number four, we're going to do a secret compliment drop. I love doing these. Leave an anonymous compliment note on somebody's desk or on their car or on their doorstep. It's got to be anonymous to make this one work. And then number five, voice messages of thanks. Send somebody a short audio message today expressing gratitude. Hearing your voice makes it so much more personal than having it as a text. Okay, so here is one thing that I want you to remember from today's episode. Gratitude doesn't have to be grand to be game-changing. The most magical moments often come when you place it where no one expects it. It could be a mailbox, it could be a wall, it could be somebody's inbox or text, just at the right moment. So beautiful souls, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you are inspired to go out and create your own adventure of appreciation. And when you do, don't be surprised if those small acts attract bigger connections, more abundance, and happier days. And if this episode warmed your heart, please subscribe to the Happiness Hub and share it with someone you know who could use a little reminder of the magic that happens when we appreciate the unexpected. So until next time, I'm going to say a hui ho, toodle pip, and aloha.